Hi everyone. Today I'm going to do my video on my testimony on why I came to Christ. My name is Maria. First of all, everything that I say will be true. There won't be any fabrications about it. This will be me, and I won't say anybody's name, but I've written everything down so that way I can read everything and not forget anything, because I'm the type of person who likes to write down first and then read. So if you see me looking down a lot, it's because I'm reading the paper. But I hope I inspire somebody to come forth, to open up, to experience God, to let Him in. Here we go. I guess my childhood wasn't that great, and a lot of people could and can say the same thing. I grew up without a father, and my mother wasn't really there for me and my siblings, but we made it. I had to grow up real fast. I feel like, wait, no. My childhood was stolen from me. When I was in middle school, I got molested by 3 different people. I wasn't alone in this. 2 of the people were like family. I didn't know how to react, or I didn't know what to do. Every time I would plead no, please no, or try and get away and more. I never told anyone because I was scared, and plus my mother didn't believe us the first time we told her. The babysitter, which would be the 3rd guy, I would never forget the things he would say. Let's play fight. And he would grab us. I felt like I was so alone. This went on for years, on and off. Whenever I was alone, I would try not to be though. When I was 14, I was raped by this guy I didn't even know. I was with my sister, and she left, and she said, I will be back, and then it happened. How much I screamed and said, no, get off, please, no. After a while of me crying and pleading, he finally got off. I had anger built up, and I would fight a lot in school, and I smoked and I drank. I guess I turned everything off. I didn't care about anyone or their feelings, so I thought. I was hurt, really hurt. I couldn't turn to no one. I didn't want anyone to know about this. I didn't have a father in my life. Didn't really know what that was like, or even felt a love from one. It really broke me as well. I wasn't mad about it, but I was more asking myself why a lot, and dreaming of him and the day I would ever meet him. I used to see girls on TV with their dads, and things that would say, Daddy's little girl. And I have always wanted to be one of those girls. My friends with their dads, I would dream about it, but then be sad at the same time, thinking there was something wrong with me. But I think there was, because every person I came across has always hurt me. When I turned 15, I was placed into foster care because my mother was on drugs and used to abuse me and my siblings. Well, most of us anyways. 3 days after my 15th birthday, I was in a home I had never been in before. I was feeling like I didn't belong. I was angry with the world for what had happened to me and what was happening to me. I didn't give them a chance to love me, to help me, to show me things, but more importantly, I didn't give them a chance for me to love them. I guess, how could I when I myself didn't know how to? I longed for it, for acceptance, for a family, but I think with that being a strange place and people, I didn't allow myself to open up, but only open up with anger as my first reaction. I wasn't afraid of anything. Before I went to foster care, I was in and out of the Ingham County Youth Center. not doing good in school. I eventually was removed from the first home I was in due to me leaving with another girl, and they didn't want to give me another chance. I was sad about it, and I even cried that night, but I was trouble, and I see that now, but before I couldn't, or I wouldn't see it. To me, everyone was out to get me. I was moved the next day to another foster home. These people were not so nice to me. They asked me what I liked and didn't like, and they made me food when they were punishing me, and gave me a peanut butter and jelly surprise, which was peanut butter and jelly mixed with salt and pepper and some other toppings on it. I didn't eat it, and they told me I had to eat it or I can't eat nothing, and I chose nothing. For a few days I didn't eat. I didn't want to be there at all. Well, one day at school I was with some friends, and they asked me if I wanted some pills, and I seen the other boy take it, so I told her sure, and he took a bunch at a time. I didn't really know any better, and I took them one after another. I was feeling real good. Little did I know that would all change. I took them at 11 a.m. and went home, and they didn't even have a clue, my foster parents, what was wrong with me. But deep down, I'm sure they did. They just didn't care. I was acting very different, and she asked me, "Why are you laughing so much?" But that was it. I later went to my independent living class because being in foster care, I had to go there so they can teach us how to live on our own when we get there to that point. Later, I went to my independent living class, and that is when it all began. The inside of my body started to heat up like if it was on fire, and the lady didn't know and said, "Maybe you need some water or you're hungry." I was shaking uncontrollably. My nerves were out of it, I guess. My foster care lady thought maybe I was having a panic attack, but I knew I wasn't. But I still didn't say anything. We went on to my therapist because when you're in foster care, it is required that you do that. We were celebrating his birthday, and when he was leaving, he was the only one who seemed to know that something was not right. And right away he asked me, "What did you take?" And I told him, "I didn't take anything." And he said, "I know you took something. What did you take? You need to tell me what you took." And I told him, I took 7 100 milligrams of Zoloft. And he hurried up and stopped my foster care mother's car and told her to take me to the hospital, and she did. But out of everyone I came across, he was the only one who seemed to know something was wrong and acted on it. So I went to the hospital, and my heart rate was really high, and they took blood and put me on IV, and we waited till my heart rate went down, and they just kept asking me if I tried to kill myself, and I told them, no, I wouldn't never do that. I was just looking for a high, I guess. The foster care lady thought that this whole thing was some kind of joke because she kept making jokes about it. When I was stable, I was able to leave. And by stable, my heart rate was down to 110. But they said if anything happens, then bring her back. And she said, okay. We were going down the highway when my vision turned yellow. My sight, all I seen was yellow. Everything, the radio, the car, it was yellow. I started to get all worked up, saying to her, I see yellow, I see yellow. Then my vision came back, and she said, can I take you back after I take the kids to school? And I said, okay, because my vision went back to normal. But as I was looking out onto the highway, I seen something go across the intersection. And I'm like, what? And I could feel something staring at me out the side of the window. So I decided to look. And there it was, a demon. I was so scared and screaming and telling her, I see them, the demons. And we got to the house and I kept looking around because they were all around. And I was telling the guy, the foster dad, you probably think I'm crazy. And he said, no. But when I was in the light, they didn't enter. And I was telling him this. He seemed to understand and had sympathy for me and was hugging me. I didn't want to go into the darkness, but she made me. She wouldn't let me sleep without the light on. Well, I was with her. I went into her room to lay down in her bed, and the guy slept on the couch, and she had the light off, and I seen them flying around, and they would fly right through me, and once they did, my whole body on the inside would feel like it was on fire. It was a feeling that I cannot describe unless you have felt it before. It was not like a fire that you put your hand over a stove and it's hot. It was like an intense burning feeling on the inside. At that very moment, I would pray to God to keep me alive and to forgive me of all my sins and to be with me. As I watched them fly in the room, flying around, I would pray like if that was my last day. I would say, Lord, forgive me, save me, keep me here. Be with me, Lord. That day, I was so scared. I've seen things that I've only heard about, not knowing whether it was true or not. But that day, oh, that day did I believe. My foster care worker was trying to get me removed because I wanted to be, and because the incident happened, I had to be placed somewhere else. But the foster care lady would tell me things like I wouldn't live to be 18 and I wouldn't have any children, and she would scare me. I was soon removed shortly after and was placed into this other foster care home. Before I talk about this home, I just want to say that I have always longed to have a family to love me and to show me that they cared and wanted me for me and not to be their personal slave like my mother did to us kids. I wanted a family that was amazing, that loved each other and talked to one another and was there through everything I longed for, as some will say, a white family. I wanted what I've seen on TV, what I've seen before. I wanted it so much. At my third home, it was so lovely when I got there. A house I would have only dreamed about being in. I was so amazed at how nice it was. I met them, and right away they were so nice and treated me with so much respect. I never had that. Or I did with the first home, but I didn't want to accept it because I was so hurt. I loved living there with them. I opened up to them. Well, not everything, but I really felt like I had a family that seen me for me. But I messed up and ran away with some of the girls. Not because I had a reason to, but because I knew what to do and I didn't want to see any of them get hurt or anything to happen to them. So I went. I was so sad because I had plans being there, and a part of me wishes I would have stayed and not left. I truly loved them, and I still do. I was 16, almost 17, when I moved into this other home where I thought I would have a loving family since I knew who they were. To me, it was so good. I was welcomed by everyone, and I loved that. Later, I started to go to a church that they were going to. I didn't know anything, but I went anyways. For some reason, every time I went, from the very first time, I felt a love and a welcome that I never felt anywhere else.